The alarm clock buzzed insistently, pulling Sarah from her restless sleep. She groaned and swatted at it, her hand fumbling before finally silencing the noise. Mornings were the hardest. They brought with them a familiar weight, a nagging voice that whispered, "You're not enough." For years, Sarah had battled this voice. It had taken root during her teenage years, fed by a relentless diet of societal expectations and her own perfectionist tendencies. Her achievements never felt like enough. Her reflection in the mirror always seemed inadequate. And please subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon for new updates. Her relationships often left her feeling unworthy. The world around her seemed filled with confident, radiant individuals who had it all figured out. Sarah, on the other hand, felt like a perpetual work in progress, stuck in a loop of self-doubt and insecurity. But today, something was different. She had reached her limit. The cycle of negativity and self-criticism was exhausting, and for the first time, she felt a flicker of determination. Enough is enough, she thought. I need to change. Sarah didn't know where to begin, but she had heard about a self-help workshop in her city. The theme was rediscovering yourself, and it promised tools to cultivate self-love and confidence. Nervous but hopeful, she signed up. The workshop was held in a cozy studio adorned with soft lighting and inspiring quotes on the walls. The facilitator, a warm and vibrant woman named Maya, began by asking the group a simple question. What does self-love mean to you? The room buzzed with hesitant responses. Some spoke of pampering sessions and spa days, while others mentioned setting boundaries or practicing gratitude. Maya nodded thoughtfully and said, self-love is all of those things, but at its core, it's about how you treat yourself, especially in your darkest moments. As the session progressed, Maya guided them through exercises designed to uncover the roots of their self-doubt. Sarah found herself scribbling furiously in her notebook, unearthing memories she had buried for years. There was the time in middle school when she'd been teased for her braces, the college rejection letter that had crushed her confidence, and the breakup that had left her questioning her worth. Each memory felt like a piece of a puzzle, revealing how her negative self-image had been shaped. Maya's voice broke through Sarah's thoughts. We all have a critical inner voice, she said, but here's the thing, that voice isn't you. It's a collection of fears, doubts, and societal messages you've absorbed over time. The first step to self-love is recognizing that you can challenge that voice. That night, Sarah went home with a journal in hand and a task, to write down every negative thought she had about herself and counter it with a positive affirmation. At first, the exercise felt awkward and forced. When she wrote, "I'm not smart enough," the affirmation, "I am capable and intelligent in my own unique way," felt hollow. But Maya's words echoed in her mind. Self-love is a practice. It's not something you master overnight. Days turned into weeks, and Sarah committed to small, intentional changes. She started her mornings with affirmations, even if her heart wasn't entirely convinced. She made an effort to speak kindly to herself as she would to a friend. When she caught herself spiraling into self-criticism, she paused and asked, "Would I say this to someone I care about?" More often than not, the answer was no. She also began exploring activities that brought her joy. Painting, something she hadn't done since childhood, became a cherished hobby. Each brushstroke felt like an act of liberation, a reminder that creativity didn't have to be perfect to be meaningful. She joined a local hiking group, discovering the peace that came from being surrounded by nature. The physical activity and fresh air lifted her spirits in ways she hadn't expected. One of the most transformative steps came when Sarah decided to set boundaries in her relationships. She realized that much of her self-doubt stemmed from trying to meet others' expectations at the expense of her own needs. Saying no for the first time felt terrifying, but also empowering. She began prioritizing her own well-being, distancing herself from toxic influences and surrounding herself with people who uplifted her. Therapy became another cornerstone of her journey. Sitting across from her therapist, Sarah unpacked years of pain and self-criticism. Together, they worked on reframing her inner narrative, replacing harsh judgments with compassion. Her therapist introduced her to mindfulness techniques, encouraging her to stay present and observe her thoughts without judgment. Meditation, once an alien concept, became a daily ritual that grounded her. Sarah's progress wasn't linear. There were days when the old doubts crept back in, whispering that her efforts were futile. But each setback became an opportunity to practice resilience. She reminded herself that self-love wasn't about perfection, it was about acceptance. On difficult days, she revisited her journal, rereading the affirmations and notes of gratitude she had written to herself. They served as a beacon, guiding her back to the path she had chosen. As months passed, Sarah began to notice subtle yet profound changes. She no longer avoided her reflection. Instead, she greeted her image with a smile. Her inner dialogue softened, becoming more supportive and encouraging. She felt lighter, freer, as if shedding the weight of years of self-doubt. One evening, Sarah found herself at a cafe reflecting on her journey. She thought about the girl she had been so consumed by insecurity and self-criticism and felt a surge of compassion for her. That girl had done her best with the tools she had, and now she was learning to thrive. A woman at a nearby table caught her attention. She looked upset, her shoulders slumped as she stared at her phone. Sarah hesitated, then decided to approach her. "Hi," she said gently. "I couldn't help but notice you seem a little down. Are you okay?" The woman looked up, surprised but grateful. They began talking, and before long, she opened up about the struggles she was facing. Sarah listened intently, offering words of encouragement. As they parted ways, the woman said, "Thank you. You have no idea how much this helped." Walking home, Sarah felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She realized that her journey to self-love wasn't just about healing herself, it was about being able to share that love and kindness with others. By nurturing her own well-being, she had created a reservoir of compassion to extend to the world around her. Self-love, Sarah learned, wasn't a destination, but a lifelong journey. It was a practice of showing up for herself every day, embracing her imperfections, and celebrating her unique worth. And in doing so, she discovered a truth that had eluded her for years. She had always been enough just as she was.